Hello everyone, this is Cameron Snow with Danomics.com. In this video, I'm going to be covering how to create a new decline curve analysis project, how to update your interpretations, activate economics, and export the results. So let's get started. With a decline curve analysis project, you'll need two database types. That'll be a well database and a production database. So to create these, we just go File, Upload Well Headers. We'll select the file here from our computer, and we're going to start with the IHS 297 format. This can also be done via an Excel spreadsheet upload. Once we've selected the file, we just give it a name, and we hit OK. For the production database, similar process. We go File, Upload Production, choose the file. This can either be an IHS format file, or it can be a CSV or an Excel format file. And then we'll give that a name as well. And we will hit OK here. And that file will then upload and process. We'll then go File, and we'll create a new decline curve analysis file. And we'll give this a name and hit OK. And this will open up a new blank work area for us. And what we'll need to do is we'll need to associate those files that we just created, those databases we just created with this file. So to do that, we'll just come over here and we'll select the relevant well and production databases. So once we've done that, we'll see the well list is now populated. And if we click on a well here, we can see the decline curves are available. And if we zoom into the map, we can see that it has been fully populated, and this project is predominantly horizontal wells. So to get started, there's probably a few things that are useful to you. First of all, we can click on Show Bubbles, and this will show us the cumulative production bubbles here on our map. Second part, in starting analysis, you probably want to constrain the analysis in some way. And so the options here is 5 options. These all relate to the different parameters within the ARPS equation. So the max QI, this corresponds to the theoretical QI factor and how high you would like to let this go relative to the maximum reported production. And I'm just going to put a value of 2 here. That means it can be up to 2 times higher than the max reported production. For a minimum DI, I'm just going to give this a very low value, so around 0.1. Max DI, I'm going to give it a value of 500. And that should thoroughly bracket any potential outcomes. And then for the B factor, minimum of 0. And for the maximum B factor, although theoretically it can be 2, in most cases in this area, I've seen it be under 1.5. So that's how we set those. And then we also have this start date here, and start date can either be best fit, first decline, and max. And which one you choose should really depend on the type of analysis you're doing. Best fit is it's excellent for analyzing late life production. What it'll do is it'll attempt to fit your well and do a create an exponential penalty as you move further out. So this is good for analyzing remaining reserves. First decline is useful if you have something that is on plateau for a long time before it starts declining, and then max starts at the peak rate. So in general, I like to start with max because that's best for analyzing new wells. And once we've done this, we'll see that our decline curves have now been calculated for every well here. And if we click around on a few different wells, we can see that the declines have been calculated. Now, if you'd like to see the projected production, you can just click on Extend Time here, and this will show you the forecasted production through time. And if you prefer to look at this on a log scale, you can toggle the scales just by clicking this button here. It's often useful to look at both a rate time and a cum time plot, often at the same time. So I'm going to hide away some of these options here, And now we can see that we have the corresponding rate time and cum time plots, so we can analyze our fit in two different ways. So upon loading the data, the interpretation is completed for every well, and it's also updated for every well each time you put on one of the global constraints. So as we were adding these constraints, the interpretation for each well was being updated. So we could export now. If we want to do that, we just go File, and we could say Download Decline Curves and hit OK here. However, most likely you're going to want to parse your data to the well set that's relevant to you. So to do this, what you'll do is you'll use some of these filters here. This is located in the control panel on the right-hand side. If you don't see this, check to see if it has been hidden away. And some useful filters to set. Cumulative production, I often put in a small number here just to eliminate wells that have minimal to no production histories. If you're interested in looking at a specific fluid type, it's often useful to set the GOR. So I'm going to set this to look at GORs between 1,000 and 2,500 scuffs per barrel. For lateral lengths, I want to make sure that I'm doing a apples to apples comparison. So I'm only going to look at lateral lengths that are greater than 4,500 feet and less than 7,000 feet. And a lot of these wells don't have proppant data reported, so I'm going to leave this out for now. But I do only want to look at wells that have at least a few months of production data. This production data was last updated in 2018, so it's a bit of an older database. So I'm going to say that I only want wells that were spud before 2017. We can filter by formation, which is typically advisable. And then finally, if we're interested in specific operators or counties, we can enter those in. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to look at Devon, who also acquired Geo Southern. And so that gets us down to a well set of about 228 wells. And so we can go through and we can start our, start the QC process on our analysis. And we can just hit the down arrow, and this will navigate us through our wells. And when we see a well like this one where we're not fitting this late time data very well, we can click here to try and change where it starts the fit, and a lot of times that'll give us a better solution. And then we can click down on our well list and continue to page through wells to see if any of them need to be manually adjusted. So once again, here's another well where we may want to adjust that. So once we've done this on a handful of wells, and let's demonstrate how to do this manually. So let's say you wanted to change the B factor a little bit on one of these wells. So what you would do is you would come over here and you could say, for example, let's change that to be 0.5. And you'll notice that when you do that, the QI and the DI will automatically update themselves to maintain the overall goodness of fit. This way you only have to enter in one parameter instead of all three. So once you have analyzed these wells, with respect to their production, you probably want to activate the economics. To do this, what you will do is you will just expand out the economics tab here, and you'll click Enable Economics. If you notice that these are still grayed out, I would encourage you just to close and reopen this tab, and then you'll see that those are available to you. You can enter in the relevant oil and gas prices, and these are flat prices that will be increased by your annual inflation rate here. So you can customize that, and you can also choose whether or not to inflate your OPEX. So put in the relevant royalty rate. You can put in a fixed OPEX per year, as well as a variable OPEX per barrel and per MCF. So this will be applied to the relevant oil and gas streams, and then you can put in a drilling and completion cost. Depending on the state you're in, you would want to enter in the relevant oil and gas severance taxes, your corporate tax rate, and then your company's discount rate. You can put an abandonment cost out at the end of life, and tell the well, put a constraint on here for what the maximum well life should be. Once you have done this, your economics will be activated, and let's just save our analysis. And what you may see is that you need to hit the refresh button to get the economic indicators such as the before and after tax NPVs and IRRs to display here in the statistics window. If you would like to have a better understanding of how these economics are calculated, you can click on the Economics tab, and this provides you with a breakdown, either yearly or monthly, depending on how you would like to view it, of both the reported, so actual historical values. It'll show you the oil and gas volumes, the prices that were used, and this will flow down to revenue lines. Once you have your total revenue, we'll strip out the royalties, oil and gas severances, and OPEX costs to get to an operating income. We'll have the D&C cost and the abandonment cost, and this will give you a before-tax cash flow. We'll then look at the taxable income after depreciation, apply your corporation tax, and this will get you to your after-tax and cash flow, as well as your discounted before-tax and after-tax cash flows. You'll notice that this is broken down into 3 categories. You'll see category 1 is reported, so this is actual historical data. We'll see a category here called mixed. So this is where we move from historical data to forecasted data, and then you'll see projected as a category here, and this is based off the results of our decline curve analysis. And you'll see that the well will be assumed to continue producing until we get to a break-even point where we're no longer cash flow positive. Okay, so once the economics analysis is done to your satisfaction, then you can come here to export the results. So we just go File, Download Decline Curves, and we'll hit OK here. And this will pop open the jobs window, and it'll initialize, and then it'll run, and the results will be exported as an Excel spreadsheet or as a CSV. Okay, so I hope that was useful to you. In this video, we reviewed how to upload the relevant databases, create a new project, update the interpretation, activate the economics options, and then finally export the results. Thank you.